Okay, this is a meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow. Will you please rise with me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance? Please remain standing. It's a moment in our meetings when we remember those members of our community who've passed on since our last meeting. And since our last meeting, we lost Nicholas William Cicchetti, to be more correct, at the young age of 97. He was a longtime resident in Sleepy Hollow Manor and a longtime member of the Sleepy Hollow Zoning Board. We also lost Frank Palantino at the age of 94. Longtime North Tarrytown resident, former Marine Corps veteran, and former fire chief here in North Tarrytown, and a lifetime member of Columbia Hose. Our thoughts are with their families and their friends. Thank you. Please be seated. Anthony, is the presentation going to be?
Yeah, we're ready to go. I'm sorry. You have the triathlon.
Yeah. Okay. First up, folks from the Sleepy Hollow Triathlon.
Hi.
Welcome.
We don't have a large check, but we did, we are happy.
But you have great smiles.
Yeah, great smiles. We're happy that our event held in June. We were able to donate $18,000 to the teen camp of the Sleepy Hollow Parks and Recreation. And it was a great event. Obviously feel satisfied that we were able to partner with you guys of all the years that you've given to us and support of the event. And just met with Anthony and told him we would like to continue this contribution next year after our event. So
We're not really interested unless you're going to continue the event as well. You are going to continue.
we're going to continue the event,
Okay.
and we're going to continue the donation to the Village of Sleepy Hollow.
They don't have a big check, but they gave us the check that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a big smile on our rec superintendent, Matt Arone, as well. So, and I know that's something that made I'm sorry, the treasurer as well. But you don't really count because anything coming in always brings a smile. But I think that's really wonderful what you guys do. I think we all think that the event itself is just really cool, and there are the slackers like me that wish I could do it and are smart enough to know that I can't. But it's so much fun to actually watch it and see it happen in all the different parts. And then to know that a big chunk of it's coming back into the village and supporting kids who really need it that's just huge for us. And we can't thank you enough.
Well, introduce yourself. Yeah, sorry. I'm Ray Kelly. I'm the race director, and I've been involved. Well, we've all been involved with this for 11 years and coming up for 12 years. I've been involved in the sport of triathlon for 25 years, which is why I look so old. And this, as far as I'm concerned, of running this race and actually seeing people compete in this race and the town of Sleepy Hollow, there's nothing else I've seen like it or been involved with over that 25 years. I love it. I love the race. I love the town of Sleepy Hollow, how helpful you guys are. And this was fantastic that we could give back this year and again do it again this coming year. And all we'd like to do is to make it even more successful, because the more successful it is in terms of not just safety, but the more competitors there are, that means more money coming back to the town of Sleepy Hollow. So we're looking for ways to publicise the race more, I know you say you can't do it, but I'm happy to train you. But the more relays, the more people we can get involved in this, the better it is for Sleepy Hollow itself, because all the money will come back.
Yeah, so my name is Veronica Screlia, and just so you know, it was net proceeds. I mean, everything we took in and obviously covered our costs, we've given back to the camp. So
So how many participants did you have this year?
At 230 this year.
And how's it trending versus prior years?
Down, it's the same as last year, but it's down from when we first did this. The first year we did it with the Leukemia Society.
Mhm.
We did it for 10 years with the Leukemia Society, and they had a big team in training portion of the race. At least 100 athletes were from team in training. But that's just folded, folded 2 years ago. The Westchester and Connecticut chapter folded in terms of team in training for triathlon. So the first year we had, I think it was 450.
I think that was like third year, yeah.
Yeah, 450. So the transition area in the park can handle up to that many. We can't handle more than that, because I'm concerned about bike safety on the course, having too many bikes. We don't want that. But we could all easily handle up to 400. So it's just social media, how we get it out there. We want it promoted as the, capital THE, friendliest triathlon, because it really is.
Yeah.
It's for beginners. And although I'm the race director, I've seen some race directors who are screaming at athletes and things like that. We try to help. There's a lot of helping going on. And it really is a great race for first-timers. So that's what we want to promote it as, and any way we can get the numbers up, which would be good for the town of Sleepy Hollow as well.
Do you have any channel or anything that you work off of where you can do videos that you can encourage people on how to train? So you can increase that participation, since you
Yeah,
said
well,
that
we
there
actually
was
put a plan up. I put a training plan up there, starting in March, because
Okay.
that's when the entries come in. And it's a beginner's plan,
Yes,
Go on our website.
and I give monthly conference calls to any athletes that want to call in first to ask questions about wetsuits, what equipment do I need,
absolutely.
training, so we do that.
So I don't know if we've done it in the past, but if there's ways that we can link that into more of our social media on the earlier onset, that might also support your increase in participation. If,
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
first I'm hearing about it, as, looking at it
Yeah.
more closely.
Right.
So that, I think would be just an easy support, and we have the platforms as well.
Okay.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
And
great.
that was one of the things that we just discussed too, is of course, keeping the race very safe, which your police and the whole village is amazing. We always comment on how we meet, and then the next day, the beach is cleaned and there's sand, and I mean, everybody at the part of the DPW, they all know our name. They all help us with anything we need every year, 10 years, 11 years, perfect, amazing, couldn't ask for any more. So just getting the word out, getting volunteers, the more volunteers, the safer it is. So in that way, partnering is awesome, and that's what we're
How old do you have to be in the race?
16.
16, but there are some, we have relays as well. So if
Okay,
I let some teams come in.
Okay.
If it's a 13-year-old fantastic swimmer
sure.
and wants to relay with the dad, then I'll let it, as long as waivers
Sure.
are signed.
Sure,
So parental waivers.
okay.
I don't think, I wouldn't put on a kids, you could consider a kids race, but
No, I was
Not
just
in the
thinking
Hudson
if there was
or
a
wherever.
certain age group.
it's like 15, 16, it's officially 16, but depending on the conversation with the parents and how good an athlete
Sure.
they are. But it's normally in the relay.
Because that might be another way
Yeah.
too, in working with the high school and
Yeah.
some of the athletic teams might
Yeah, well,
be.
definitely in the relay.
That's why I was asking the age
As long
group. I
as
wouldn't
they've got
want
a good
to,
swimmer, if they've got a good swimmer and everybody can bike and everybody can run, it's a nice flat run.
sure. We have a lot of really good clubs out there, especially if you're talking about swimmers.
Okay, and for kids, we'd reduce the cost of the race as well.
Great. Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
And it's moved up, so it's June 7th, which is nice because it's still during the school year. So we've locked in a date for next year for June 7th. hopefully, 2020, so.
That's exciting, thank
Yeah.
you.
They also need a lot of volunteers, so the more, the merrier. So even if they don't want to compete, they can help by
Can they,
volunteering.
can they get hours?
Yeah.
Students always ask for hours.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Community-
absolutely. I've done it
That's
before
great.
many times with
That's
the,
great.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, that's great. We look forward to sometime in early spring, starting to connect with you guys again and doing what we can on our end for the volunteers and the other stuff that you need to do to get ready.
Okay,
And looking forward to June 7th. Thanks again.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a warrant that was distributed earlier. It's for $991,280.58. If you have any questions on the warrant, please direct them to the treasurer, Ms. DiGiacomo.
Motion to approve the warrant.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? The warrant is approved.
Thank you.
We have the minutes of May 4th and 26th, July 16th, August 13th, and September 3rd, which were also distributed earlier. We weren't all at all of those meetings, but somebody want to take May 14th minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of May 14th's meeting.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions?
Abstain?
Please note the abstention for the record. Okay, May 28th.
Motion to approve minutes of May 28th, 2019.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. That's, any discussion? It's Gebler and Rosenblum. Okay. Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Minutes are approved. July 16th.
Motion to approve the minutes from July 16th, 2019.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Please note the abstention for the record. And the minutes are approved. Minutes of August 13th.
Motion to approve the minutes of August 13th, 2019.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Please note the abstentions of Levy and Scaglione. And the minutes are approved. Minutes of September 3rd.
Motion to approve the minutes of September 3rd, 2019.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed or abstentions? And the minutes are approved. And that completes the minutes. Just a couple of quick announcements. Hey, school's back in session. You know, I saw somebody pass somebody on Palmer over the speed bump this afternoon.
Wow.
So, the first person was going fast enough, the second person was a local, you know, so come on, folks. Palmer's a nice big wide street, don't do that stuff on New Broadway. Or in Beekman or anywhere else, don't do that kind of thing anywhere. And just be aware, we've got a lot of kids out, a lot of first-timers who are not really used to this, and be careful. Please. On a lighter note, Police Officer Maniscalco is a first-time parent, had a baby boy. Kid seems to be doing fine. Mom seems to be doing fine. Our best wishes and thoughts go out to all of them. So congratulations. Okay, we'll move on. First up is, in our department reports, is a report from our community liaison, Deanna Loha.
Good evening, everyone. We have two reports to do. The first one is about Community Capital New York. The Village of Sleepy Hollow had joined the Community Capital New York to help our small business organizations here. It is a nonprofit organization that trains business owners, and it's basically classes and 9-week classes, and it's taking place here in the Village. It's taking place, actually, the first day starts today, and it's going to end for 9 weeks, which is going to end on November 12th. It starts from 6 p.m. to 8:30. It's a Spanish class for all the business owners. They will teach them about finance, about marketing, on how to spend their business, and as well as help them create a plan for their businesses. All businesses are invited to that, and we're working alone, and hopefully we can pass the word around. And we already have made the announcements through Facebook pages, through newspapers, and we started classes today. Actually just came from them right now, and we already have like 5 business owners, and next week should be joining some more business owners from the town and other towns also participants.
Great.
So who pays for this?
This is this is a nonprofit organization, comes from New York. It's from Community Capital New York. They decided to join us and be part of this, especially with our downtown businesses that we have, and that's why this one we just decided.
Yeah, do they get their grant from the state or?
They get a grant from the state.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Mhm. And the second announcement is the Sleepy Hollow Cultural Festival that's coming up. As a reminder, we're taking place on Saturday, September 21st. It's going to be taking place from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to have free live music, community performance, and community art exhibit, and we're going to go give you and kids activities. We also want to have food and craft vendors, and we're going to give you a little more details about the festival right now.
So if you look, you might have seen some of this starting to go out in social media and then e-news blast, and we've just put banners up around town. And we've got a 11 by 17 double-fold, tri-folded brochure that will be coming out at the end of the week, so you can look for that. You've got a kind of smaller version, contents, what you'll see when that comes out. But and then just to kind of update you, since we last saw you, besides working on all the marketing for it, we've lined up the performers you see. I think we have 15 different acts throughout the day, including different dance groups, singing, music, both local and brought in. And a lot of these have been very generous in donating their performance, so that's helped with our budget. We've also have various food vendors who have signed up, some craft vendors, and a lot of local nonprofit organizations who will also be there with their tables. And we've got the community art exhibit that will be taking place in the bathhouse. So there's still a call for artists. Entries are due this Friday, the 13th, if anyone's interested. We can provide more information, or I know some of that's been sent out. We can send it out again as a reminder to people. And then, let's just see, children's activities. We've got all kinds of great things to look forward to throughout the day. There's going to be typical games from Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Italy, North America. We're going to have the bouncy house, arts and crafts, and some piñatas. We're also going to have face painting and a clown coming by. The lighthouse is also going to be open for tours. So there's a whole bunch of things going on, and we hope and invite everybody to come join us. There will be on-site parking. We'll be charging for that, but we're also really encouraging people to come via either the free shuttle bus that will be running a loop from downtown, or biking and walking. And so we've included a map to kind of encourage people to do that as well. And I think that's the short update. Oh, you'll talk about.
Yep. In terms of the budget, our total expenses goal was to be 15,055. So far, we had total of expenditures of 7,500. That came the money from the sponsor. We want to thank you, the Kendall Hudson, who donated 3,000. Affinity Health Plan, $1,000. H on Hudson, $1,000. Open Door donated $1,000. Brandon Goldberg, they also donated $1,000. And Allen Black Insurance, which is Bronze, they donated $500. We also have, with total of vendors and food crafts and everything, we got 2,650, which give us a total of 10,150. There's more food and crafts vendors that they're still signing up, so should be receiving more checks. That's in terms of the budget. Do you have any questions?
That's great news.
I think the community have had response very well in terms of the performance. We save a lot of money. We do have even people that after the event, the performance event has been closed out, they still want to participate. They're very excited, especially the community themselves. The nonprofit organizations, they've been responding. Organizations from school, other academies in town, they wanted to participate. Unfortunately, there is no more time anymore and no more space to add them up. So hopefully next year, if this turns out to be, we'll have more community involved than what we have already. We're also working on volunteers also. So we're looking for volunteers. We're sending out those, and we also have a lot of school involved in the terms of the volunteers. We also have some residential people that are going to be they're going to be adding into it. And for that, we also have created some T-shirts for that, for the volunteers.
That's nice.
And do they get in touch with you directly for the volunteers? How would you like them to get in touch with you if people want to volunteer? Contact you?
Oh yeah, they can actually contact me directly. We're gonna be sending. We officially create a link where we can actually they can sign up themselves. They sign up and choose the hours that they would like to volunteer. We'll also be putting through our Facebook pages. We also be putting through the Sleepy Hollow website too, so if they can get more information.
And what do you need the volunteers to do?
We have there's a lot of things that they can do besides having fun. We actually have created a workshop where they can choose what they like to pick. For example, they can be volunteers in terms of helping people for the parking, as well as in terms of helping with the table for the kids' activities, the bouncing castle, helping throughout, just to direct them people where they can go. We have different sign sheets for that, and they can choose which part they would like to be here, as well as help them with the RXF and stuff like that.
Yeah, the online form, once you find that link via the e-news blaster, hopefully website, not up there yet, but that should be there soon, then you'll see those options, both time slot and type of activity to volunteer for.
I think what you guys have done is really impressive. It's not easy to launch an event like this, so kudos to you. I know it was heavy lifting, but you've done amazing work, and I think next year will be that much easier, having a bunch of folks already experience this year, but it seems like it's going to be great, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say that it's an amazing committee. I'm a member of it, but excluding myself.
Is that why it's amazing?
These guys have been so wonderful to work with, and Kirsten and Deanna in particular have put in so many hours. Every document had to be created, every contact had to be made, so they've done an amazing job.
So what time do you want us to be there? Are you going to have like a kickoff thing?
From 10 a.m. to
6
p.m.
p.m. Yeah.
It's not going to be a volunteer, so you have to be a little bit more early. 6 in the morning.
You can work the welcome table, 12 to 2.
We're
I'll
gonna-
sign you up.
We're going to stand at the entrance.
No, I thought you were going to, like, if you wanted, like, the mayor to speak and.
Yeah,
It's a great idea. We haven't even.
No, 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 we're
that's
gonna
one thing
stand
we're
at the
missing from
entrance.
our schedule here, so
Yeah,
we could
We're gonna
add that.
Sam.
I didn't see him in there. You should squeeze him in here somewhere.
We're going to stand at the,
He's going to be
Actually-
speaking at 2:30. He's the
At
magician.
2:30.
Oh, he's
Yes,
the magician.
actually, yes.
I should have known.
we'll just greet people as they enter Kingsley. Just shake the hand of every person that comes
Actually,
in.
yes, it is at 2:30. We have saved a spot there for the village to start. I feel like this is where people are coming. At 2:30 it is the time. We see that.
So, put that on your calendar.
Yeah, okay.
Good job.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ladies.
Looks like it's going to be fun. Okay, Mr. Roan from the Recreation Department.
By the way, you're supposed to wear New York swag when you come to these meetings, just so you know for future reference.
My Raiders had a tough week with Antonio Brown, and they got a win last night, so it may be the only chance I get to wear a shirt this year, so,
You must have got it on sale.
yes.
No, he traded in 3 Jets jerseys
That's
for,
true. That's true.
would
They
have
do
been
have a better record than the
would
Jets
have
right
been
now.
4 Giants jerseys for the Raiders, so.
I'll enjoy it while I can. Good evening, everybody. The following programs have concluded since the last recreation report I wanted to fill you in on. We participated in a youth summer basketball program this summer, and boys and girls teams were invited to enter by the Dobbs Ferry Recreation Department, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade kids. We entered a 3rd and 4th grade girls team only this year. The girls did very well playing against teams from Irvington, Elmsford, and Dobbs Ferry. I want to give a special thanks to Michael Hargrave, who was the father who volunteered to coach the team. We had some interest after we already entered the league that wanted to get in for next year. So we hope to have some more teams next year, and it was a very successful program and exciting for the girls. As we spoke about a little bit earlier, the Recreation Department ran a very successful teen travel camp once again this summer. We had over 40 campers and 8 staff. We actually had 44 campers this year, which was more than last year. And we took them to exciting destinations like the amusement parks, the baseball games, and adventure courses. So I want to thank everybody who made the camp successful, and also thank Ray and Veronica, who were here earlier, for their contribution. The annual Teachers Summer Basketball Camp ran at the high school from July 22nd to 26th. Terry Teachow is the director. He ran another well-attended and successful session. We held a party in the park at Horan's Landing on August 28th. The band Carbon entertained everybody, and we had a very good crowd, food, ice cream, bouncy castles, and other entertainment. And we also held 2 movie nights over the summer at Barnhart Park, one in July and one in August. And we had big crowds at both of those events. Some ongoing programs. The after-school program has begun, and it will be ongoing for the rest of the school year. The program runs from 2:30 to 6 p.m. at the Galgano Center on regular school days. We have 48 kids enrolled in the program, and if anybody's interested, that's $225 per month for a Sleepy Hollow resident. The ongoing senior programs, as usual, we have ceramics classes. The next 2 are September 12th, September 26th. And then we run the senior fitness on Tuesdays, the walking club Thursday mornings, and senior boot camps on Fridays. We have 2 senior citizen trips scheduled, September 15th to the Mangani Winery, and September 28th through the 30th. They're going on an overnight to Boston. So if any senior citizen is interested, please reach out to us or Sue McCarthy down at the Senior Center. Some upcoming events. Our youth soccer clinics for the young kids will begin September 21st at Barnhart Park. Classes are Saturdays, and times vary depending on the age group. 10:05 for ages 4 and 5, 11 a.m. for ages 2 and 3. They're $225 for Sleepy Hollow residents and $240 for non-residents. That's a 9-week program instructed by super soccer stars. I met today with the instructor of the Youth Fitness Club. That'll be running again at Barnhart Park. We'll do 6 Mondays in September and October. We're going to do it at 4:30 to 5:30 this time around. That program's for 2nd through 6th graders and instructed by Danny Cadena, who I met with earlier. So more information about that, excuse me, will be available soon. And we're going to do a Parents' Night Out, which we do every fall. That'll be at the Galgano Senior Building on September 18th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., and that'll be $20 per kid, $10 each additional child, and we're going to have entertainment and food and drinks for the kids down there. As you guys know, we have a lot of fall special events. I just want to name a few so we can save the dates. As mentioned before, the Cultural Festival at Kingsland Point Park is on the 21st from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The next Saturday is the Oktoberfest at the same park, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're doing a Halloween themed party in the park at Horan's Landing on Friday the 4th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the next day, the 5th, will be the pumpkin painting at Kingsland Park for the kids. That's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then the street fair is on the 12th on Beekman Avenue from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We all know about the Haunted Hayride and Block Party on Friday and Saturday, the 25th and 26th of October. The 26th also is the Rivertown Runners Halloween 10K run. That's a 9:30 a.m. start from Moore School. On Wednesday, the 30th, we're going to do the Truck or Treat event across the street here at Beekman Avenue parking lot from 4 to 6. And then finally, the Halloween parade for the kids on Halloween itself, the 31st. Here on Beekman Avenue, that'll be a 5:30 p.m. kickoff from the Moore School lot. That's where all the kids can dress up, and we give them candy at the end. A few important parks items I want to wrap up. The new playground unit for Douglas Park was completed in July, and it looks beautiful, and the residents have been very complimentary. I want to thank our DPW department for assisting with this project. They helped break down the old unit and spread all the wood chips for the new area, and it's a really nice playground. The kayak storage rack at Horan's Landing along the Hudson River was completed also over the summer. And for those who don't know, the residents will be able to rent a slip for the year to keep your kayak or canoe safe and secure, so they won't have to continue transporting back and forth from home all season long. There are 27 boat slips there. If anybody wants one for the remainder of the season, we're still selling them. But however, we're anticipating for next summer have a full slate of people interested. You can use the kayak racks. The hours are the regular park hours, which are sunrise to sunset. And we just want to make sure everybody registers their vessels with us so we can put them on there and have them safe and secure. Also, 40 new picnic tables have been purchased for all the parks over the past year. We've spread out these new tables at all our parks. We've been getting rid of the old wood ones. So we've also purchased a small 2-row set of bleachers for Sykes Park basketball court for the kids when they're playing, and the adults, so they can sit down, change their sneakers, and have some place to sit. Some of the current parks projects we're working on, we're repairing the rubberized playground surfacing at Barnhard and Sykes Park. We're going to resurface the basketball courts at both Barnhard and Margata Park, and we're going to add a heating unit at the platform tennis courts at DeVries Park. All those projects we're working on right now, and hopefully have them done within the year. A few other items. The Lighthouse tours will continue this fall. The next 2 dates Henry Steiner will be hosting are September 15th and September 29th. And we will also have the Lighthouse open each Sunday in October for both the residents and for all of those who are coming in from out of town. The Lighthouse will open 1 p.m. on those dates, and we're also going to have it open, as mentioned before, on the day of the Cultural Festival. We are hosting baseball games down at DeVries Park this fall for the Sleepy Hollow and Tarrytown 10U fall baseball team. There'll be about 6 to 8 games played at the big field in September and early October. So I'm happy to have them down there, continue baseball until October. A makeup date has been secured for the J.P. Doyle's charity softball game at DeVries Park that was rained out over the summer. That's going to be Tuesday, September 24th at 6:30 p.m. If our residents haven't done so already, they should create their own Community Pass account so they can register for all rec programs online. This is done by going to the general registration page and then type in the name of our organization, which is Village of Sleepy Hollow, New York. Once you create an account, you'll receive an email that contains your log information, and you'll be able to register for our programs online. If you have any questions about that, you can call us at the rec department and we can help you out. And the final item is just a reminder that the senior citizen bus goes shopping each Wednesday morning. If any senior citizen is in need of transportation to get groceries or any other items, please contact us at 366-5109 on Mondays or Tuesdays so we can arrange to get you guys a ride. That's my report. If you guys have any questions or comment, I'm glad to help you out.
Just wondering if the rec department collaborates with the triathlon committee in some way. Do you guys work with them? Just give us an idea of what role we play.
We meet frequently with the triathlon committee, I would say 3 or 4 times before the event. Our police department and our DPW also meet with Anthony and everybody here. So we arrange, that event's been going on, as you could tell, for 10, 11 years now, so it's been going on for a while. We help by organizing what goes on at the park, any deliveries that come in for the porta bathrooms or the gates or the fences. We help with volunteers. You know, Veronica and I had a conversation when I first came here, and I met her about the event, and we were speaking, and that's how the kind donation came about. I guess they've been here for about 10, 11 years, and, you know, we had a nice discussion about how time to give back to the village a little bit, and luckily for us, we had the teen camp. So now the partnership it's growing even more. So,
Great.
yeah, we help out. We also have some of my staff attend the event and on the course, handing out water or helping point the runners or the racers in the right direction. So, yeah, we're very involved, and we plan to increase our involvement as time goes on, especially with the generosity that they've shown us this year.
Thanks. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Chief Weddy, Sleepy Hollow Police Department.
Good evening. I
Evening,
believe
Chief.
I'm presenting my capital projects tonight.
Hang on a second. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to point out maybe 3 or 4 projects that are of urgency. The first would be our Vicky fingerprinting machine. This is a machine, I think the original number you got is actually wrong. There was a 0 left off of it. So instead of 2,700, it's actually 27,000. So this machine is obviously a machine we use every time we do arrest processing. And unfortunately, the machine's approximately 10 years old, has received all the updates that it can possibly have, and it's going to be unsupported soon, not only from the company that it's with, but also the county, who does all the internet interfaces and makes sure the proper connections are made where the fingerprints go to the state system. The second most urgent would be our police radios. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Verizon is abandoning their copper lines, and they're switching everything over to fiber optics. So when they do that, our radios will be inoperable, where the connections to our 3 transmitters will not be compatible with the fiber optics unless we do this upgrade.
When is Verizon expecting to do that?
The answer I got is one I know the mayor loves: soon.
When you say upgrade, you mean a new?
No, it's just the connectors that went from the copper would have to go to the fiber optics in 3 different locations.
Oh, okay.
Chief, you said the fingerprinting system would be 27,000?
27,600.
It says 2,760. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Another one is our body cameras. I did have a typo. It's actually a 5-year endeavor for the $100,000, but this is something that's becoming more and more vital to law enforcement. The figures I gave you were for the Axon Body 2, which they're coming out with a Body 3, and they didn't have the numbers with, so that's why there's a little discrepancy from the quote to what I've requested. So the Axon Body Camera 3 has newer technology, of course, but some of the most important ones are the improved video quality, hands-free activation alerts. So essentially what it does is there's a device that goes onto the holster, and if the officer has to draw a gun, the camera automatically gets activated. Also, if the taser is drawn out of its holster, it automatically gets activated. Live streaming, which I thought was very interesting. So you could of course, you'd only be accessible to supervisors and such, but you could actually stream in and watch what the officer's doing live. It also has a GPS feature with live maps, so you can actually see where the officer's at, and that's a great safety issue, especially with the bicycles, the bike patrol unit. So if God forbid something happened to an officer where they were in a park and they hit something, they fell over, and they were alone, we'd be able to locate them, and the alert would be sent if it's immobile for such a period of time.
You said that's a 5-year rollout?
It's a 5-year rollout, right. Well, it's a 5-year support contract.
Oh, I see what you're
So
saying.
we'd get the 30 cameras immediately,
Yeah.
and then the maintenance. Another great thing they do is they, of course, charge us, but they keep the storage in the cloud so that we don't have to use any of our storage here. And it also allows us to link almost automatically the case or the report number to the incident that's been captured on the video camera. And the reason that's important is because in January 2020, a new law goes into effect where we have 15 days to turn over any evidence pertaining to an arrest to the defense attorneys. So once that's linked, the video captured is linked to the report number, it goes into the cloud. And when that's ready to be transported to the DA's office, we can give them access and they just pull it from the cloud. So it's just one less step of us burning it to a disk and giving it to them. So that's why I was recommending definitely going to the Axon 3.
So every police officer in the department has currently got their own body camera and using it at all times? How does it work?
No, we do not have body cams at this point. This would be a new program.
So are you intending to get one for every member of the department?
Every member, yes.
And so what's the protocol? Once we have them, they'll be using them whenever
Right.
they're on duty?
Correct.
Good.
And so is the plan to phase them in or to try to get them all at one time?
Get them all at one time because, the way it's set up with the reporting system where it links up, it'll actually be assigned to an officer so that it links the incident to the officer to the report.
So you know that if you had a camera, you're number 1 and lieutenants are 2 and 3, that kind of thing?
Right, and then I forgot another nice feature that Axon 3 has is Find My Camera app with the GPS. So if it did get lost, we could locate it. And then, of course, the last request is for 2 new police vehicles. We have 3 2011s, 2 of which have just about reached their lifespan capacity. One we're actually borrowing parts for quick emergency repairs. So we did, I did put in for 2 new marked police units.
Are you looking for cars or Suburbans?
Unfortunately, the only vehicle that will accommodate us is the Ford Expedition. The Ford Tauruses, they're just too small. I mean, I'd challenge any of you to get geared up, and we do have one outside with the bulletproof vest on, your gear, and all your stuff with the computers and stuff, and try to spend 8 hours inside that vehicle. It's very tight.
Maybe we could get a 51 Olds, they're-
I like the original Caprices.
okay. Is that it for the,
Those are the ones of most urgent, and, of course, I do have my motorcycle program, which was the same amount. Of course, the K-9 went down to 25,000 that we could possibly get the Stanton Foundation grant from.
When do you find out about that grant again?
Excuse me?
When do you find out if you got that grant, when you get that grant?
Actually, I was going to ask, well,
Oh,
we didn't apply,
apply yet, okay.
but we
sorry.
could just sign the letter of intent and go through the process, because it is I believe she said, a 4 to 6 month
I
process.
thought we were doing that. Were we doing that?
We have to sign the letter,
Okay.
or somebody, Anthony or Mayor.
The issue is whether the board is willing to commit to a K-9
Well, according to our grant writers, it's not, we don't have to commit until we get approved for it. So we wouldn't have to sign a contract. We could get it and then say, you know, we just can't do it.
Oh, that's right, we needed the cost of what it would be per year.
Right,
Correct.
it would wind up costing us about 15,000, well, depending on the contract, because it goes up to 2%. Next year, it costs us about 15,000. That's 3,000 in equipment, an additional $12,607 for the officer.
So that's every year for the canine costs, and you said you had officers who were interested in it, right, correct?
We do,
Multiple,
yes.
okay.
Okay.
So this letter is just a letter of intent, it's non-binding in terms of, if they come to us and say, okay, you've been approved, we can say no.
Correct. You wouldn't have to sign the contract. They would present you with the contract. Went over about the, you'd have to commit to it, the officer would have to commit to it for 5 years. It would have to be in place for 5 years. So you could deny it at that point.
Well, and the letter of intent
So-
isn't even the grant application, it's just saying that you're gonna apply for it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's a letter of support on behalf of the village.
Sure.
I guess it ensures that I'm just not
You're just not
filling
going
out
rogue.
paperwork and sending it and
Yeah.
then,
Right.
Got it.
When does the application have to be in?
it's a rolling application, so
Rolling,
there is
okay.
no, right, end date.
How old is the dog that we would get?
Usually they're anywhere from a year to a year and a half. And they're what they call a green dog, so they're semi-trained.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through a 14-week program with the officer.
And where does that program take place?
Where?
Yeah.
We applied for, well, the grant's been written for either Boston, the county of Boston, which is Berkshire, I want to say, and there was another department also, but Boston PD was our first.
And how many
training
weeks did
facility.
you say the
Four-
training?
14.
So is it like 5 days a week?
5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Then they would have to come home on the weekends.
Is that, the cost of that built into
Yes.
this number?
Right. And they also give us up to $25,000 to, no, or maybe it's, I can't, maybe $14,000 to reimburse for overtime that he's out of the schedule, up to.
Or she.
Or she.
I still like to see like a spreadsheet of all those costs, because you reeled
Mhm.
off quite a bit.
I'm sorry, what's that?
So,
I said, I would like to see a spreadsheet with all of the costs, because it's like you said, there's training, there's, the expense for having the dog, all of these different expenses, and then whatever the grant counters, so that we know what the bottom line number is.
Right, well, the training is part of the, so we're not paying for the training at all. That's part of the grant. But you have to go to, a
Yeah, but
certain
we're paying
amount.
for the police officer while they're in training for 14 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. So that's an expense.
Well, right, but it would be his regular, we'd pay him if he was here also. It would just be,
It's still an expense.
okay.
so, all right, so we're gonna get an updated, request on the capital pieces, right? And then we have to just, further consider the, canine request.
When do they retire the dog from the program?
As early as 5 years or whenever the dog can no
Doesn't want to
longer-
work anymore?
Right,
And the dog then is the property of the police officer?
right.
Who works with the dog?
Yeah, it's already in our contract where the officer would have to write a check for $1 to the village, and that would dispel the village from all obligation from the dog. So if something did happen with the dog, the village wouldn't be responsible after that point.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any objection to doing the letter of intent?
No,
No.
Okay.
please do it.
Yes, we have no objection. It means that it's okay. That-
Chief, with the motorcycle unit, is there training involved with that?
Yes, it's a 2-week training program out of Yonkers, which is, really one of the most renowned training in the Northeast, is that program. They really come from all over to attend the Yonkers training program. And of course, you have to have a motorcycle license and be willing. There is a pre-test to getting into
Right.
the training.
How many officers would be in that program?
Well, obviously, we train one at a time to pretty much.
You would have some overlap for vacations and,
Sure, so it pretty much could be anybody who wanted to do it
right.
and could have the capabilities of doing it would be eligible for it.
Mhm.
Something that we could use all, some of them ride throughout the winter also.
Right.
I'm a fan of the motorcycle program. I think it's a great program. It's good for PR. It's good for when you can't get in and out of traffic and.
Well, yeah, that, and I think
It's
it'd also
great.
look, really sharp with all the running events we have. If,
It's
we
great.
have our police department leading it with the
Parades, all the
motorcycle.
parades we do.
Yes.
I think it would be something good to have.
Triathlon?
Triathlon went very well.
No, I mean, the motorcycle could.
Oh,
Legal
yes,
triathlon.
no, of course, right, that'd be one of them also. The triathlon, the 10K, 5K we do also. The half marathon, of course, that's our big one. And then, of course, the parades, the touch a truck, we'd have the touch a bike.
Yeah, I think so. It's also good for when you guys do those torch run things and funeral processions, and it's good to have.
Not headless, though.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah. Anything else, any other questions for the chief?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you for your consideration.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, we'll move on to public comments. Does anyone wish to address the board? If you do, please use the microphone in the middle of the room, and please be reminded that you're restricted to 3 minutes. Good evening.
Oh, breaking.
You broke it, you pay for it, no, you bought. It was just a reminder of the 3 minutes, but I don't think that's going to be an issue with you, Marjorie.
I'll be succinct. Good evening, I'm Marjorie Shue. I'm here on behalf of the Phillips Manor Improvement Association. I have 2 items. One is I'd like to read a letter. Dear Mayor Ray and board members, the Phillips Manor Improvement Association, on behalf of its members, would like to thank your board, the Sleepy Hollow Police Department, the Sleepy Hollow Volunteer Fire Department, and the Sleepy Hollow Volunteer Ambulance Corps for participating in our community parade and picnic on July 4th, 2019. All of us in Phillips Manor appreciate the fine services provided by each of these agencies. Because of the important work each of these organizations handle, we are especially grateful when we benefit from added attentions and support at our annual July 4th event. Enclosed are 2 checks of $100 each to support both the fire department and ambulance corps volunteer units. We ask that the Village Board of Trustees pass along these funds for those teams to use any way they feel is most beneficial or fun. Hoping for a safe and successful Halloween season in the village. Sincerely, Marjorie Shue, on behalf of Ray and Drenny, the PMIA president. And can I pass these checks to
Me.
Anthony?
Thank you, that's very nice. Thank you.
Dinner, Doyle's? Right, okay.
Great, and we really do appreciate it. It was another fun event this year. The second item I wanted to make you aware of on behalf of the board is the Eagle restoration work has been completed. So we're wrapping up the remaining update of the grounds surrounding the base of the Eagle with some landscaping. So planning to do some sort of dedication ceremony in probably the October timeframe. So it would be fabulous if you could all join us at that event. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Marjorie.
Any weekday morning at 7:35 works for me. Okay. So,
That gives you 9 minutes to catch the train.
yeah. 8 minutes to catch the train. Thank you. And we will pass those donations on to the police department and the ambulance corps. Does anyone else wish to address the board? If not, we'll move on to resolutions. Somebody want to take the first one?
So are we not doing the street sweeper one this time?
Yeah, it's not in the package, I don't
There's no
think.
street
No street sweeper resolution this time?
Do we have it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow on purchase of street sweeper. Whereas the village owns an Elgin Pelican street sweeper that is no longer operational, old sweeper. And whereas the non-operational old sweeper has caused the village to rent a street sweeper beginning August 2018 at a cost of approximately $6,000 per month. And whereas the village has spent approximately $84,000 to rent a street sweeper. And whereas the village has received a proposal from Northeast Sweeper and Rentals Incorporated for a 2019 Ravo 5i Series street sweeper at a cost of $257,550.82. And whereas the village will receive a credit of $3,000 for the trade-in of its old sweeper. Whereas the village seeks to purchase a new street sweeper through a cooperative purchasing program pursuant to New York's General Municipal Law, Section 103-16, the piggybacking law. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees approves and authorizes the purchase of a 2019 Ravo 5i Series street sweeper under a cooperative purchasing program in which the village is a member, its membership ID number 89594, pursuant to a contract between Northeast Sweeper and Rentals Incorporated and the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit, CSIU, doing business as Keystone Purchasing Network, KPN, and an amount not to exceed $265,000. And be it further resolved that the village administrator and village attorney are directed to ensure that the proper procurement policy is followed and a purchase order issued, and be it further resolved that upon the village administrators and village attorney's confirmation thereof, the village treasurer is authorized to make payment for the purchase of a 2019 Ravo 5i Series street sweeper. So moved.
Seconded.
We really want that sweet sweeper.
Yeah.
Sam,
Sam.
trustee Gonzalez,
And if you can pass on, oh, sorry.
you get to second the next one, okay?
Oh, that's fine.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask if we can pass along to Wayne for all his work on this. He did his due diligence and really went over and beyond with demonstrations and involved the board, you know, down to the way he included us in demonstrations as well as writing, and I think that's well deserved. So I'd like that to be passed on to him.
Agreed.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? The resolution's approved.
Resolution of the mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow to retain PKF O'Connor Davies LLP. whereas the village is desirous of retaining an auditing firm to provide annual independent financial audits, and whereas the village treasurer is recommending the firm of PKF O'Connor Davies LLP, and whereas this firm has been retained over the past several years and has been reliable and diligent, now be it resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the mayor to execute the attached retainer agreement with PKF O'Connor Davies LLP to provide the village with an independent financial subject to the terms of the attached agreement. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
Thank you.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow authorizing salary adjustment for Associate Judge. Whereas the Board of Trustees believes it would be fair and equitable to increase the Associate Judge's salary to be commensurate with his job duties. Now therefore be it resolved, the Mayor and Board of Trustees hereby increases the annual base salary of Justice Alfred Farella to $6,000 effective June 1st, 2019. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Levy seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
Resolution of the Mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving request for block party. Whereas the Mayor and Board of Trustees received a request from Hal Muchnick of Farrington Avenue to hold a block party on Saturday, September 28th, 2019, and whereas the block party would take place on Farrington Avenue between Bellwood Avenue and Monroe Avenue from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the request made by Hal Muchnick to hold a block party on Saturday, September 28th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. with a rain date of October 8th. Be it further resolved, the Board of Trustees directs the Chief of Police to coordinate the public safety issues with the applicant if necessary. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
Resolution of the Mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving request for a block party. Whereas the Mayor and the Board of Trustees received a request from Bettina Gold to hold a block party on Saturday, September 22nd, and whereas the block party would take place on Hunter Avenue starting at 3 p.m. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the request made by Bettina Gold to hold a block party on Saturday, September 22nd at 3 p.m. And be it further resolved, the Board of Trustees directs the police chief to coordinate the public safety issues with the applicant as necessary. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow hiring part-time recreation staff and salary adjustment for the Recreation Department. Whereas, in order to maintain the appropriate ratio of staff per participant in the after-school program, the current vacancy in the Recreation Department must be filled. And whereas the Superintendent of Recreation, Matt Arone, properly advertised this position and has conducted interviews and has deemed this applicant qualified, and whereas Mr. Arone has recommended that this candidate be hired on a part-time basis effective September 3rd, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow hereby approve Mr. Arone's recommendation of Janeline Rodriguez of Tarrytown to be hired effective Wednesday, September 3rd, 2019, at an hourly rate of $16.01, and be under the supervision of Mr. Arone, and be it further resolved, a background check for this applicant has been completed and is satisfactory, and be it further resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes a salary adjustment for Christopher Pell to $16.01, consistent with the Teamsters union contract. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? The resolution's approved. Welcome aboard, Janine. That concludes our resolution, so we'll move on to old business and new business. Anybody have anything they want to bring up? And Ms. McCarthy-Tompkins, do we have any, I know we have at least, we have a couple of communications. We've got one from Hubert and Sabine Boley, regarding their opposition to a marina at Horan's Landing. And we've got a communication from Patrick Monroe, passing on some information he received, I think, from New York State DOT regarding the intersection of 448 and Beekman Avenue and New Broadway. We have anything else that,
I don't. I just want to tell the chief of police that I have a motorcycle driver's license.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
Just in case.
are you on the local list for police officers looking to drive somebody else's motorcycle? Okay. I just had this image of you coming down New Broadway, you know, with all the lights on and the siren and. All right, no business, new business, old business. Does anyone wish to address the board? Hearing no one, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a safe night.